Hi, it's Steve Rode, your Get Out of Debt guy. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably want to learn more about money, credit, and debt, or you're one of the many good people out there with bad debt and you want it to go away. But stick with me. Together we can make that happen. Either way, I'm here for you, and I believe a better and more financially successful future is ahead. It can be within your grasp. I'd like to ask you for a favor. If you find this or any of my podcasts helpful, please take a moment and leave a review on the podcast platform you're listening on. Your feedback and opinion matter to me, and if I've done a good job, your review helps others to find the podcast as well. And while you're there leaving your review, don't forget to subscribe to the show so that you can be notified when the next episode comes out. Last piece of housekeeping. If you have a question or comment you'd like to hear on an upcoming podcast, you can leave me a voice message at getoutofdebt.org/message. Or leave me a question for me to answer on my website by going to getoutofdebt.org/question. Thank you so much for being a great listener, and I'm sending you a giant virtual hug in return. And now, on with the podcast. The podcast you're about to listen to comes with a warning. Not every effort to produce information and interesting content is a true work of art. Sometimes it's just a hot mess. And today's show is one of those hot messes and includes a few curse words along the way. My apologies, but there it is. However, Damon and I do eventually get out some good information on how to have fun when dealing with money troubles, some tips on how to save easy money on routine expenses, and you'll even hear Damon talk about how he was just scammed, well, sort of, on Craigslist. And now on to the audio we'll loosely call a podcast. Hi, this is Steve Rode, your Get Out of Debt guy from getoutofdebt.org. Here's the latest practical money, credit, and debt advice to help you enjoy life more.
I guess he's just not going to let me do video.
What were you doing video on last time?
My Mac.
Oh, not your laptop?
No, it's my regular one.
Oh.
I don't get it. It's acting like it's not connected or something, like I don't have one.
Let me do. So you're on your iMac, right? I mean, your
yeah, my MacBook Lite or whatever you call it.
Your Mac Air.
Yeah. 3 hours to set it up, 20 minutes to do
it. Yeah.
All right. Am I getting quieter?
No, you're louder.
I'm louder now?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is definitely my microphone because I'm standing 10 feet away from my laptop with my microphone in my face.
Okay. Well, the audio quality is better.
Better than what?
Better than before.
Yeah, but I've been playing with it, so now how's it?
Yeah. Sounds awesome. Let's just get the fucker done.
Well, what the fuck is wrong with it? I'm buying all this shit and it doesn't even work.
It is. It's like you're not even talking through the microphone. I mean, you're holding the mic up to your face.
What about now?
Yeah, that's better, but overmodulated.
Well, it's because I'm got my nose on my thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how these things are designed to be used.
Just right in your face?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not on camera, so I guess I can just shove it in my face.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got your pop screen on?
I do. I'm licking it.
Yeah, because it sounds good. Sounds fine.
Okay. So the whole time is operator error?
Well, I did tell you from the very top that it needs to be right up.
It just feels weird to have it right in my face.
Well, that's how you avoid having all the room echo.
I know, but I get kind of high pitchy and squealy, and I feel like I'm just going to like blow people's eardrums out if I'm right up on it.
Well, you just have to do what I do. You just have to be conscious of not talking that loud and screaming like a girl.
Like, what would it sound like if I went, "What up, bitches?"
Well, it gets a little overmodulated, yeah.
Well, see, when I do that, I'll have to go, "What up, bitches?"
Yeah, now it's echoey.
Bitches.
I'll have to save all these outtakes because,
Playing a loop at my funeral.
yeah.
As Damon would say, what up, bitches?
And I'm going to have to phone it into your funeral.
Oh, you can fly once.
Yeah. All right.
I'll put it in my will. Money for Steve's airplane ticket.
Yeah. Points.
Yeah.
Southwest points for Steve.
Southwest. You get Amex points for peanuts, $200 worth for the year.
You know what we're talking about.
Got a trailer. Yeah, shit, buy shit, whatever. Do what you want. I really don't know what we're talking about.
All right, here we go.
Oh, fuck.
Yep. Hey, Steve Rode. What the fuck was that?
I was trying to hold in my laugh. I saw you pausing. I can still see you, even though you can't see me. I saw you trying to like calm and collect yourself so you could talk and then laugh.
Yeah, all I heard was. Come on, we're supposed to be professionals here.
Well, yeah, okay.
Well, everyone's just getting what they paid for. That's the reality.
It's worth every penny.
Yeah. All right, let's try it again. Hey, this is Steve Rode, your Get Out of Debt guy, with another Get Out of Debt guy show. And back again, like a bad penny, is Damon Day. Hey, Damon.
Hi, Steve. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. I don't know. I'm almost threatened to include how long we've been trying to get this going now? 19 minutes.
A lot longer than we're going to actually do the show for.
I know.
Because I still don't know what we're going to talk about.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to talk about this week is being in debt doesn't have to be the end of having fun, right? Fun on a budget while you're dealing with financial problems. And you have created an interesting way where the type of fun that you want to have is you've managed to turn it into a little business on the side.
I did.
So, right? Because you want to get away with your family. You got traveling baseball with your kids and everything else. And you came up with this great idea. Hey, why don't we get a travel trailer?
Wiser words were never spoken.
Great idea or hey?
No, yeah, we bought a trailer about 2 years ago because we were traveling a lot with my son's baseball, and so we thought, hey, it'd be better to get a trailer instead of spending money on hotels and plane tickets and all that stuff, and we can actually do some family outings and see the sights of America. And then I ended up, right after I bought it, I got this idea that, hey, it sits there, a couple of weeks out of every month. And, why not rent it out to other families that want to try RVing? So, yeah, I didn't invent it or anything. I mean, there's some websites out there that can help you out, but I found them and did some research on it. And I thought, well, that's a nifty idea. Just rent it out and help me get the payments paid and cover the expenses for storage. And it's worked out pretty good for the last, 18 months or so I've been doing it.
So actually, would you say at the end of the year that you've made more income than the trailer has cost you each year?
I would say for me, because my issue is we use our trailer more than most families would use a trailer. Most families, the problem with buying an RV for most people is it doesn't make sense. When you really start adding up the costs and then you factor in how often you're going to use it, most families maybe go on 2-3 trips for the entire year and that's it. So you start looking at those costs and it really doesn't make sense. But we go on about 15 to 20 trips a year. I mean, we're gone all the time. So what I found, I only rented it out a couple of times a year, both years. But most of those were, I made about anywhere from $600 to $1,000 per rental, depending on how many days. But what I found is I had to decline a lot of rentals because we were using the trailer so much. So I could have probably easily made 2 or 3 times what I made if I had only used my trailer personally a couple of times a year. And even with that, though, those four times I rented it out, 4 or 5 times, at least covered the cost of the payment. So, maybe not quite everything, but, that's pretty good when you're using the trailer 20 times a year and you get the payments covered and all you got to worry about is maybe some storage and some maintenance. That's not a bad deal.
So when you're deep in debt, you're depressed, you're saying no to your family all the time, and your kids want to do something, these travel leagues because I have a cousin who has a child who's in gymnastics and hockey. And these travel leagues can be a money pit. I'm just amazed. For example, your son is in a baseball travel league, and they go all over. I can't imagine how much parents have to spend every year just to keep their kids playing ball.
Yeah, it really is crazy. You gotta, you have, Kathy and I, we kind of have this constant struggle between not wanting to deny your kids an opportunity, but at the same time trying to be, financially prudent with, okay, how much do we want to spend on our 10-year-old to play baseball, even though he loves it. And so where, the direction we went into was, well, what if we could find a way to turn it into not just, we got to go to another baseball tournament, but turn it into, a family trip, quick trip, vacation, whatever you want to call it. So we actually get a lot more value for the money that we're spending, and get some what they do call quality family bonding time.
Yeah. Plus, isn't one of the other great money saving things is that if you actually made meals at home or in the trailer or on the road, you're saving a lot of money by not having to eat out.
Oh yeah, having the trailer definitely saves us money, but of course, then you're comparing it to, still doing the activity without the trailer versus somebody might come along and say, well, if you didn't do the activity altogether, then you'd save the most money, obviously. But if you're going to do the activity, there are, ways that you can find to save. Like even I have, there's friends on the team that, they didn't go get an RV, although I think the idea is growing on more of them, because I think sometimes they get a little jealous of when they say, we got to stay another night. We made the championship. The hotel's $250. And I'm like, oh yeah, my night's $25. Yeah. I don't mind staying a few more days. That's fine. That's fun. Let's do that. And, so who knows, maybe the next year or two, there's going to be a whole caravan, a team caravan of RVs, but there's other parents, where they'll carpool, to an out-of-state tournament or something, or they'll just, maybe they can't make every single tournament. So, one or two of the parents might drive 3 or 4 of the kids, and then they'll stay in the same room together. So there are ways to save money, even if you're not going to actually, go buy an RV or something like that. But
yeah, that sounds like fun, staying in a distant hotel with other people's kids.
Well, it's not my cup of tea, but.
So do you mind if we talk dollars and cents for a minute?
Oh, good thing I was prepared for that.
Yeah.
Sure, you can ask me whatever you want. I don't know what.
Yeah.
But.
No. Just, you have a 20-foot trailer. So what can people expect a payment on something like that to be?
Why do you think I have a 20-foot trailer?
I don't know. How long is it?
It's 27 feet.
I'm sorry. Size does matter.
Yeah. And when you get to the campground, you pop it out, the back slides out up to 34 feet, Steve. No. 32 feet.
All right. 32 feet. So you have a when your trailer is fully erected, it's 32 feet.
That's smooth, Steve.
So, not having any sort of idea, what trailers cost, is it affordable? You said, hotel rooms like $250 a night.
Yeah,
so is that a trailer payment?
They run the gamut, obviously, right? You can look at it till your eyes bleed. Different sizes, different models, different everything.
Mm-hmm.
You can go all the way down to getting a fairly small 25 foot travel trailer that's used for under $10,000. That's so perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
But the new one that I bought, it was brand new. It was right around 21. Mm-hmm. Of course, you got to factor in, you got to pay the taxes on it, and shipping, or pick it up local or whatever. But just for my purposes, the trailer that we got, and we've got 3 kids and 3 dogs. So we were in a 27-foot trailer, family of 5 and 3 dogs. So it was pretty tight, but it was doable. And you can get something like that, and all the Dave Ramsey fans are gonna, be aghast. I'm talking about payments. It's just, it's just a payment of, it's the American way, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, this show's not about financial advice. This is about us talking. these guys said go buy an RV. What kind of consultants are they?
Well, it's interesting because you do hear people talking about financial advice. I'm doing air quotes, right? And I would much rather have a show that talked about financial reality and life reality than the general BS that the talking heads like you might see on TV say. And I say that as somebody who used to be on TV a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to give you a general ballpark, I mean, you get a small trailer, you figure, as long as you got a decent credit rating, your payments are going to be $200, $250. And if you buy a brand new one, in the low 20,000 range. And then, if you don't have a place to park it, you're going to have to store it. And that depending on where you live in the country, that could be $30 a month. It could be $150 a month, or if you go inside storage, it could be even more than that. I don't recommend getting inside storage that costs more a month than your trailer payment, though. So you got to, be mindful of that. And then you're going to have, we've done RVs for years. This is the fourth trailer that Kathy and I have owned. So, a lot of this stuff is just kind of second nature to me. I don't really think about it anymore. But if you're, new to it and it's a kind of, this is the first trailer you've ever had, there's going to be a learning curve, and there's going to be a lot of things that you're going to buy. It's not just the trailer. When you buy the trailer, that's kind of the start of it. But although if you're smart about it and you just kind of get things as you need it, it's not going to be a major expense. And it's certainly cheaper, at least for us, when you start adding up. Well, if you go in and you're paying $200 a night for a hotel and 3-4 nights for every tournament, and they're doing 6 tournaments a year, and then the airfare, to get out there and back and all of that, paying for a small RV, even with the gas and everything to get there, is certainly a lot more economical, especially if you're trying to transport 5 people and a couple of animals. It definitely makes more sense to take your trailer. Plus, we don't have to worry about, bed bugs and things like that. It's all of our
true.
It's all of our stink in there, it's ours.
Your very own stink.
Yeah.
So once you buy a trailer, there's all sorts of ways to spend money. I mean, you've told me about some trailer parks like the one in California on the ocean that was an ungodly amount of money a night.
Oh, Newport Dunes. Yeah, we love that place, but it's pretty pricey down there. It's all supply and demand.
And they range all the way down to, like you said, $25 a night.
Oh yeah, if you're not going to be on the coast, I mean, you can find places. I found a place one time with my Passport America card. We were just passing through. We needed a place just outside of Santa Fe to stay for the night. We had about 5 hours left to get home, and we were just exhausted. So we pulled up the app and found a Passport America. So it's 50% off. We got in there late at night, plugged in, went to sleep, but it was $12.50 because the regular rate was $25, and then they gave us 50% off of that. So, it can get pretty cheap. And then if you really want to save some money, you don't have to go to an RV park. A lot of these rigs, you can set them up for what they call boondocking, if you're into that.
Dry camping.
Yeah. And you got the water tanks and the batteries and all that stuff. And we do that sometimes, where if we're just passing through somewhere and we just need to pull over and grab a couple hours sleep. A lot of Walmarts will let you pull in their parking lot and just, go set up the rig. I don't even disconnect it from the truck. We just get the family and the dogs in there and maybe make some dinner and pop the slides out and go to sleep and then get up early and go. And that's free.
Well, you mentioned this Passport America. I'm on their website right now. You can imagine what the URL is. It's passportamerica.com. And it says that the yearly membership is $44 a year. And they advertise themselves as a 50% discount camping club. Is that accurate?
Yeah. I mean, I've got mixed reviews on them. The nice thing about it is, for $44, you can't go wrong, because if you're going to be, using it, if you use it 1 or 2 nights out of the year, you're going to make that money back, because any member park is 50%. The downside that I found to it is because the parks have to be 50% off to participate. What tends to happen is the parks will sign up, maybe if they're newer or they're, slow, or they're, trying to get more business. And that could be, maybe because they're newer, because maybe the park is not very desirable. Who knows? So obviously there's a financial incentive for the business to do it. And they give away, half of their revenue to get new people in. But what I found is when we first got it 2 years ago, we found several nice parks that way through their app. And then what I've started to notice is a lot of those parks that we went to 2 years ago, when you call, they'll say, oh, no, we're not members anymore. Or, oh, well, that's only on, Tuesday through Thursday, or, something like that, which you can't blame them, because, once they get to the point where they don't need that extra advertising to fill up, why do they want to give people half price if they're already going to be full at full price? So,
yeah, I'm looking on their site right now. I was looking for places in the state of North Carolina where I am, and they are exactly what they say on the tin. They're 50% off. And so I understand that you might come and go, but if you're just looking for a place to save 50%, might be worth thinking about.
Yeah, and it's not really a plug for Passport America or whatever, but that's usually what Kathy and I will do if we're coming in and we don't know where we want to stay. We'll pull up the app and we'll see if there's a Passport America park anywhere near us, especially if we're not going to be that picky, because why not?
Yeah, I mean, you're pulling over to sleep in the dark, so as long as it's not, you don't need a flak vest or something, you're pretty good.
we have run into that potential a couple of times where we went, I'm not that tired, let's keep driving.
The $12 campground.
Yeah. No, but actually that one was fine. I mean, it was just, there's certain areas that are fine, and there's certain areas that we don't really want to stop.
All right. Well, how about free campgrounds at fun places to go? You ever heard about something like that?
Free campgrounds at fun places to go?
Yeah, there's this website called Harvest Hosts.
No.
Harvesthosts.com. See, I'm going to teach you something here.
Wow.
You're the RV guy.
No, Walmart's the only one that gives us free campgrounds, but that's really just a parking lot.
Well, this place has listings for free RV camping at 709 wineries, breweries, farms, and more. Yeah, these are places that want you to come and stay, and you can park on their property for free. Some of the places are museums and attractions.
What's that site called, Steve?
Harvest Hosts, HOSTS.com. It costs $79 a year.
Oh, it's a membership deal.
It's a membership. Yeah. I mean, you're paying $44 for Passport America. So the only thing, if you pay $119 a year, they also add golf courses and country clubs that you can stay at in your trailer. So pretty cool. Something to think about.
I have a question.
Yes.
Because I'm probably as confused as our listeners.
Yeah.
So is this an RV show, or what are these guys? What's the takeaway of this show today? I know we want to talk about ways to side hustle and make money, which is how we kind of circle it back to to getting out of debt guy show. Are we going to talk about some other side hustles, or where are we going?
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
So now that we've talked about it is possible to have fun. Good segue there, Damon. It is possible to have fun on a budget. There are some creative ways that you can do it and break even and make a little bit of money, like with this whole trailer RV idea. There are other ways that you can help reduce your financial pressure. And you mentioned the side hustler gig, and I want you to talk about that in just a second. But one of the easiest ways to reduce your debt is to reduce your expenses. I'm going to give you two things that I really like to reduce expenses, common sense things. The first thing is, recently I switched my phones from AT&T to consumer cellular. So for 2 unlimited cell phones and 20 gigs of data a month, includes unlimited calls and texts, it's $75. I saved $125 off my AT&T plan that I was on. And their customer service is fabulous. So I need to give them some praise for that. The other thing is, this is really a cheapskate idea. Damon, razor blades are just damn expensive. If you go to the store and buy them, I can't believe how much they are. But Dollar Shave Club, I mean, you and I have known about this place for a long time. I think it's $5 a month now. And you get razor blades, and $5 a month. I mean, you can't lose. The other thing is, I don't think I have used or paid for shaving cream in probably 5 years. because you can use soft soap and lather it up and put it on your face or your legs, whatever you're doing, and it works just fine. It's the same thing, and it's free. So I love saving money that way. So Damon, talk about reducing expenses or making additional income. What good side hustle, side gig things have you seen people you do?
It's weird. I mean, I don't have any specific good ones other than, like I said, I'm not recommending you go out and buy a trailer specifically to maybe try to rent it out on the side, but there's hundreds of thousands of people, maybe even millions, that have trailers currently that are just sitting there. So definitely something you want to check out. But I've had clients that have actually had a lot of success, and I know it's like, whatever, but I mean, things like Uber and Post-its and what was that one a friend of mine was telling me about the other day? I can't remember, but I mean, there's just with this whole, sharing economy and the technology that's, just everything that's been, it's just crazy to look back on like the last 10 years and the opportunity for somebody that's just, hungry and motivated to make some extra money. It's almost like there's just an unlimited, number of things that they could be doing in their spare time to try to, have a side hustle and bring in some cash. It's really just about figure out what you might want to do or what you would like to do and just go do it. There's just so many opportunities out there right now that didn't exist even just 10 years ago.
The thing I like about delivering for Amazon or Lyft or Uber or any of those things is you can turn it on and turn it off whenever you want. Yeah. My favorite Uber experience was I was in Florida. Pam and I were in Florida, and we needed to get to the airport. So we went on to Uber and asked for a ride, and an Uber driver said immediately, "Bing!" They're on their way. So it was a very nice woman who was on her way to the grocery store when she saw the request come out, and she figured she might as well make a little bit of money, and she could turn around afterwards and go to the grocery store anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, it amazes me to look at what's going on, in the world really. And, when people just get all upset and down and, I'm unemployed and there's nothing I can do and woe is me. And it's like, there's just so much opportunity. Just go out there and do it. I mean, it's just crazy. You don't have to rely on just like, some employer anymore. I mean, heck, if you're a little bit, industrious, you could, spend $10 at GoDaddy and get a website and start your own little side hustle if you don't want to, go work for somebody else. I have people like I had a client, this was about a year ago, and he had no extra money to get out of debt. He really wanted to, get out of debt and just get his debts, paid off. And he was an older gentleman, but still working. And he went out and, he became an Uber and a Lyft driver. But he was hustling, man. He would go out like after work every night, at least one of the weekend days. And there was a time where he was pulling in an extra $1,500 a month, and he was just throwing all of that at his debt. And, it wasn't fun for him, but he saw it as a means to an end, as where he can go out and set his own schedule and, work around when he was feeling up to it. And he was out there kicking butt, making an extra $1,500 a month. And for a lot of people, that's a lot of money. I mean, you can, obtain your financial goals making an extra $1,500 in the evenings.
So here's the ultimate get out of debt story by Uber, probably. So again, I'm in Florida. I request an Uber. The driver comes, he picks me up. We start chit-chatting, and turns out that I am his very first fare that he's ever had. And he asked me what I do, and I said, well, I'm a consumer debt expert, and I help people have financial problems. And he broke down crying. So it turns out that he had been laid off, and he had decided he was going to do Uber as a way to make some cash quickly. And so I talked him to at least pulling over. so yeah, driving through the tears was not my best.
That's good advice, Steve. You are a professional.
Yeah, better pull over. So we pulled over in the parking lot, and we had about a 30-minute conversation about his financial situation and helped him come up with a plan. And he was felt much better about the thing. And he was enthusiastic about working the Uber gig in all his spare time between looking for a job. So, hey, it worked out. The thing I like about Uber and Lyft and those things is that there's really not much of a hurdle to get started if you've got the enthusiasm to do it. I don't know what the process is for screening vehicles. I've actually been picked up by an Uber driver in a pickup truck. I got picked up by an Uber driver in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, in the smallest car there ever was, and he told me that he slept in the back seat, but his legs were all cramped because he couldn't extend them out. So there's all sorts of drivers out there, and there are other things you can do too, like Amazon's Mechanical Turk. Look it up on Google. And you can get paid for just doing small little assignments, clicking on this or doing a survey or something like that. There are services out there like Field Agent, where you can go and be a secret shopper and get paid for that assignment. There's all sorts of things out there. So you can reduce, if you find yourself in financial problem, you can reduce your debt, you can increase your income, or you can do a little bit of both.
And even those freelance websites too, those are pretty good for people that have certain talents or skills, like an Odesk or Fiverr or those kind of places, and put your talents out there, and if there's a need, you can make some side money doing that.
Yeah, and wait, now you get the ultimate roundabout here. You could actually make side money while you're on the road in your trailer, because in fact you are talking to me right now from a hotel room.
I am. I would have been in my trailer, but it didn't quite work out.
So you're on the road getting a new trailer right now.
That was a segue fail.
Well, the plan was to have video of you in your trailer.
You're in the hotel.
Yeah. Well, you're halfway there.
My trailer is 3 miles down the road, Steve. At the dealership.
Hopefully tomorrow it'll be on the back of your truck.
Yeah, I just need a hitch.
Yeah. All right. So, hey, let's talk about how to get scammed when you're trying to save money.
Why do you think I'm an expert on getting scammed?
Because I've lived with you for the last 24 hours. And I've received the phone calls.
Yeah. Well,
so Craigslist is not always what it's cracked up to be, is it?
No, I've always had a good experience, but I finally, I guess it finally caught up to me. We kind of outgrew our travel trailer, so I needed to buy a larger trailer, but I didn't have the proper fifth wheel hitch in the back of my truck. And the one I ordered was not going to get here in time, because trying to be, an astute consumer, I purchased the trailer in Oklahoma, and I happen to live in Colorado, about 10 hours away. But the trailer in Oklahoma was a lot cheaper than it was anywhere else pretty much that I could find it. So I figured the 10-hour drive was worth it, but I had to somehow coordinate getting that hitch to the dealership in Oklahoma, and I couldn't find somebody that could ship it to me in time. So I got on Craigslist like any smart consumer would do to try to save some money, and I found somebody actually in Tulsa that supposedly had the hitch that I needed, and I drove out here to get the trailer on the hopes that Craigslist was going to come through for me. And I went and met the person, got the hitch, everything looked right model number on the box, and I went to install it. Come to find out, it was the wrong model number, and it would not fit on my truck. So somehow they had the wrong hitch in the box. I figured, well, that sucks. I'll have to call them back and to get my $500 back, and I'll give them the hitch back, and I'll explain it was wrong. But unfortunately, when I called,
when you called, were you optimistic this was going to end well?
I was not optimistic, because first of all, it took me a while to figure out why the hitch was not fitting correctly. I had to do some research online to figure out that I must have a different model number. I thought there was something wrong with the hitch, but I couldn't figure out what it was. And so when I called, when it really went south was when I called Tammy, the lady that I'd been dealing with, and her, what I can only assume was druggy boyfriend. answered the phone. I mean, the guy was not all there, and he answered the phone in a tone that was like he was expecting my phone call. So, and he had never answered the phone when I called her before, but now all of a sudden this guy's answering, and he answers the phone. What? And I didn't even know the guy's name. I'm like, oh, hi. Yeah, this is Damon. I was just calling because the hitch that you guys sold me, unfortunately, it's not the right model number that was on the box. Somehow you guys got the hitch mixed up. That's impossible. This is a new hitch. It's never been out of the box.
Well, actually.
Yeah, actually, it has been out of the box, but, I'm willing to look past that. No, it's a new hitch. It's never been out of the box. Well, I'm not sure how it got the diamond plate rusting on the bottom while it was in the box from the factory. But, again, that's not an issue. The issue is it's the wrong model, and it's just not going to work for my truck. It's for the flatbed model or flatbed truck. And you guys, told me it was this different model. That was what I thought I was purchasing, but it's not. So I think there was a mistake. And I didn't accuse them of trying to scam me or anything like that. I think they genuinely didn't know. And I thought, okay, so, I'll need to meet you. I'll give you the hitch back and you can refund my money. And then, when you put it back on Craigslist, make sure you say this is for flatbed trucks only. Mm-hmm. And the guy was like, well, no, you're just not installing it right. And I'm like, look, I'll shoot you a video. I can show you. He's like, flip it over. I'm like, no, you don't understand. No. You're flipping it over. It's the wrong hitch. It's not designed for this truck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so again, it's no harm, no foul. I just need to, get that $500 back because I'm supposed to pick up a trailer in, at this point, 10 hours in Tulsa. So I need to get the money back so I can go find another hitch to buy. And he's like, well, it sounds like you got a problem then. I'm not refunding the money. and at that point, what's that meme? Where it's like, at this point, he knew he effed up. So I pretty much was like, uh-oh, this is going sideways in a hurry. And I was like, well, can I please talk to Tammy? He's like, yeah, but she doesn't know anything about this. So she gets on. She's super nice. And I'm so sorry. I don't understand what's wrong. And da-da-da-da. And I explained it again. And then she goes, well, can't you just resell it to somebody else? I'm like, yeah, I could because, the funny thing was there was nothing wrong with the hitch, for what it was. It wasn't like I could tell somebody had installed it, but if it was used, it was very gently used, right? So I wasn't even nitpicking about that, whatever, although I would have paid a little bit less had I known it was installed. But the issue, I told her, I said, look, I need that $500 back so I can go buy another hitch in the next 10 hours. And then, I said, look, I'm not saying that you scam me because in all honesty, the hitch you gave me was worth more than the hitch I thought I was buying. It actually was $100 more, but it just won't work for me. So take it back and advertise it for what it is. And you might be able to make some more money. And then I heard a click.
They were done talking to you.
And let me set the scene. That was in Tulsa, Oklahoma in the rain at 11:30 at night trying to install this hitch, and it was 35 degrees out. And like an idiot, because I'm a wannabe YouTuber, even though I never publish any of these videos, I've got my camera set up on the top of my truck. I got my selfie stick going, and I'm out here in the hotel parking lot, filming this. This is the hitch install video.
Yeah, you were that guy.
I got scammed on Craigslist video. And so after that, I was like, well, it is what it is. I could probably resell it to somebody that actually owns a flatbed and that would be fine. But I still have this dilemma. But at the same time, I was still, very sad for humanity that, that they would do that, knowing what I went through to get out here. And that I was kind of stranded without a hitch. And, I got a truck and a trailer and no way to take it home.
Well, I think the icing on the cake on this story is when you called Tammy back and she explained how her boyfriend was now not in the house.
Yeah. So actually what I did was after a couple hours of, doing other stuff about midnight or maybe it's 2 a.m., 1 a.m., something like that.
Are you still in the parking lot? It's 2 a.m.? No,
I was back in the hotel room at this point. After that phone call and the hang up, I went, well, my night is done. There's nothing more to do here. So I packed it up. And in fact, I didn't want to leave the hitch in the back of the truck because it was raining. I didn't want to get the box all soaking wet and I didn't want somebody to steal it. So, I mean, so far my experience with Oklahoma was not great. So yeah, the thought of somebody maybe stealing it out of the back of my truck had crossed my mind. So I carried this behemoth box into the hotel, and I went to the front desk, like, you got a place I can put this? So it's still currently stored in their storage room downstairs. But when I got up to the room, I just was thinking about it. And, my wife's like, you should file a police report and da-da-da-da. And I, the more I thought about it, it's like, you know what? If they're going to keep that $500, then they must need it more than I do. And karma is karma. So whatever. And I tried to let it go at that. And then, I thought about it some more and I went, no, that sucks, man. That really sucks. So I texted her. I said, so are you going to do the right thing or should I file a police report? And I really had no intention of filing a police report. I'm not going to waste my time. Although I had her work address. I had her home address. I know that she's a dog groomer in Oklahoma named Tammy. Yeah. And I have her Facebook page. So if I really wanted to make some waves, it wouldn't be that hard. Turn my wife loose on her. But so I texted her that and she immediately called me back. Like right away, like within 30 seconds, I get a phone call. I'm super sorry. This is not me. I'm not a mean person. That guy, Ryan, I don't know what's wrong with him. I've been dating him only for 3 weeks because I told her in the text, like, I don't know what's wrong with him if he's on drugs, but my recommendation is you need to get away from him.
Yeah.
And so she's telling me that, look, I'm so sorry. I explained to her what was wrong with the hitch again. And she's like, okay, well, Ryan broke a whole bunch of stuff in my house and stormed off and took my truck keys. So this is a story I'm getting.
Yeah.
And so he took $100 of that 500. So I only have 400 left. And so if you want, I can meet you tomorrow and you can give me the hitch and I'll give you 400. And
in a dark alley in the middle of the night.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Why do I take $100 haircut here? I mean, and then, we talked some more and she's thanking me for, recommending she get away from Ryan or whatever. And then the way we left it was she was going to have to try to figure out how to find another truck key or get a truck key made and get to work. And she'd call me in the morning. We'd arrange a time to meet and I would get my $400 back, I guess, because that's a gift to me. And then, so we hung up. Now, later that night, I kept thinking about, is this really a smart idea? I mean,
now I just want to interrupt here because essentially what you were doing is you were recommending to her that she get unhitched from her boyfriend.
Yes. That's what I was doing. So I thought about, what, $500, who knows? Maybe they were going to meet me. He was going to show up with a gun this time and this time take my wallet. I mean, obviously I'm dealing with the two lowlifes here that don't mind taking $500 from somebody. And honestly, even if they didn't know they were giving me the wrong hitch, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Once they knew they did and it was worthless to me, I had it for about a half an hour at that point. I mean, it was still in the back of my truck. I mean, the right thing to do would have been to meet me again and, okay, sorry about that. Because the hitch they told me they had was not the hitch they gave me. So it was
the same manufacturer. It was just a slightly different model.
Exactly. And unfortunately, that model wouldn't work. So,
yeah.
So she was supposed to call me this morning. Of course, she never did. So I'm thinking that was all an act and she was not the sweet, innocent person that she made out to be. So basically, I just decided when I get back home, I'll take that extra hitch that I now have and I'll put it on Craigslist as the right model number for what it is. And somebody that has a flatbed truck that it goes to will get a good deal on a hitch that was installed once or twice, but I don't think was really ever used, and they'll save a couple $100. And I live in farm country, so I'm sure there'll be somebody out there that would like to have that gooseball hitch on a flatbed truck. And if you're one of those people, my number is.
Well, the warning I always like to give people to avoid, being scammed or harassed or something when making a Craigslist deal is that generally you can always meet the seller or the buyer in the parking lot at your local police station, and they're happy to be there if you have any concerns. But Damon, in your experience, what could you have done to avoid being, is scammed the right word? Being scammed like that?
See, that's the funny thing. I was scammed in one sense, but I honestly believe they didn't do it on purpose. I think they thought what they had, I don't know if they stole that thing or the story about it's her parents is correct. Honestly, I don't know what's going on with those two, but I think they just got it somehow, whether, legally or nefariously, I don't know. And once they got the $500, they did, this thing was posted for like at least a month. So they've been trying to sell it for a while. So I think they just had the money and they didn't want to give it back because they were using it for rent or drugs or whatever. But like I said, the irony of the whole thing is the hitch they gave me was worth more than the one I was trying to buy. So that's why I have a hard time calling it a scam, other than once the transaction was done. And I wish I would have been able to record the phone call with the guy, because he had to have been on drugs the way he was acting. He was slurring his words. Mm-hmm. He was like, sounds like you got an effing problem, not my problem. It was really weird. Oh, just turn it over, dude. Yeah, I don't know what I could have done to avoid it, other than, I didn't know it looked exactly like the other model. I mean, I opened the box, I looked at it and everything, and this company only makes 2 models of hitches, and one of them is a couple inches shorter overall than the other one. And honestly, if you didn't have them side by side, there's no way you'd know just by kind of looking it over. And when the model number is on the outside of the box too, it's like you're not really going to question it. It's a new hitch. Is it really the right model that the box says it is? So in that situation, I don't know what I could have done different, other than
I just have this mental picture that the boyfriend, the regrettable boyfriend, was somehow maybe acquiring this hitch nefariously. And as he was running out of some house, he said, "Quick, grab that big ass hitch. We can sell it on Craigslist."
Yeah, I mean, their whole story was start to finish was just weird. So I think her calling and apologizing was her getting scared when I said police report. And then, the fact that I did not get any kind of phone call or response to a text. In fact, I actually texted her this morning and said, "Hey, by the way, I did some research, and that hitch that you gave me by accident is actually worth $100 more. So when you get it back, advertise it as that, and you might make some extra money." Didn't get any response.
No response.
No response. So they're keeping my money. I'm out $500, but honestly, I shouldn't have much of a problem, getting somebody that actually needs that hitch and has the right truck for it to pay me $500 for it.
Now, on the flip side, you've had years of good experience on buying and selling stuff on Craigslist.
Yeah, that was the first bad experience I had. But didn't you tell me a story that you heard somebody got killed for $8 one time?
Oh, yeah. So yeah, it's not worth. You talk to the boyfriend. He obviously was not feeling hospitable. And so it's not like you want to go meet somebody at 35 degrees in the rain in Tulsa at night and hope that you're going to get your $500 back when he broke all the stuff in the house and then ran out and took 100 of it. There's no good ending to that story.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, it's just like, well, maybe I'll make a good story and maybe I'll publish it on YouTube and maybe I can get some ad revenue.
Well, I like how you always say this is going to be another unpublished video.
Well, it's only funny because it's true.
Yeah, I know. You have years of videos of things you're going to teach people.
Steve, how many years have I been telling you I have a YouTube channel. I've never uploaded a single video to it, but how many years have I been telling you I'm going to do a YouTube channel?
I know.
Well, and I've got all the raw footage. I take video of everything, but when it comes to, okay, now I got to sit down and go through hours of footage and make some creative, cool video that people want to watch, I go, squirrel.
Yeah, well, at least you don't have to be the idiot that has to edit this show.
I would just scrap this one.
Oh, we're going to pull some silver out of this pile of shit. That's for sure.
Well, good luck to you.
Yeah, thanks. And good luck to your Oklahoma hotel room, by the way.
Yeah, well, technically, that's why I am in a hotel room, because we purchased a new trailer, and the trailer is bigger than this hotel room, but
yep,
I've got no way to pull it away from the dealership, so I'm still at the hotel room. I'm currently scouring Craigslist for another hitch in Tulsa to buy.
Yeah. Keep us posted on how that goes.
I'm buying a hitch from the dealership.
Yeah, that's the better play. All right, Damon. Well, thank you for another moderately okay show.
Yeah, this one was all over the place, bro.
All right. Well, I always say we should never do the show before the show, but apparently just setting you free is not the secret to success.
I kept telling you, what do you want me to say on the show? I don't know what we're going to do. I'm still hoping you don't actually publish this one because this didn't really go anywhere. I still don't quite know what the overarching theme was, but hey, it's your show, man.
Hey, you know what? I love our listeners, but truly, they are getting what they pay for, and
worth every penny.
Worth every stinking penny. All right. Talk to you next time.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye. This is Steve Rode, your Get Out of Debt guy. If you want more advice or you want some free help, be sure to visit me at the getoutofdebt.org website. And while you're at the site, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast for even more practical tips and advice.